Restaurant manager kicks out Barron Trump over MAGA hat. What he does next shocks everyone. The heart of Manhattan buzzed with its usual midday energy. At La Concorde, a high-end restaurant renowned for its opulence, the lunchtime crowd indulged in quiet sophistication. The gentle clinking of glasses and the murmur of low conversations were underscored by the soothing melodies of soft jazz, played live by a trio near the corner. Waiters in crisp white uniforms moved with precision, balancing trays laden with artisanal dishes and vintage wines. As the revolving glass doors parted, a figure stepped inside, drawing subtle but immediate attention. Barron Trump, now a poised young man in his late teens, walked in confidently. The signature red MAGA hat atop his head was a bold contrast to the subdued tones of the restaurant's decor. His stride was unhurried, his expression calm, yet self-assured, as though he was entirely at ease with his surroundings. The hostess, a well-groomed woman with a polished demeanor, greeted him with a professional smile and guided him to a prime table near the large, arched window. The table offered a view of the bustling street outside, yet Barron's presence seemed to shift the focus inward. As he settled into his seat, unfolding the menu with quiet composure, murmurs began to ripple through the staff and diners. A few exchanged curious glances, while others tried to feign indifference. The air grew heavier, not with tension, but with the silent anticipation of what, if anything, might unfold. The murmurs around the restaurant had not gone unnoticed. The staff behind the bar exchanged uncertain glances, and the tension grew with each passing minute. It wasn't long before the manager, a sharp-dressed man in his mid-40s with an air of authority, stepped out from his office. His expression was carefully composed, though a hint of discomfort lingered beneath his polished exterior. Approaching Barron's table with brisk, purposeful strides, the manager stopped a few feet away. He cleared his throat, drawing the attention of nearby diners. "Good afternoon, sir," he began, his tone polite but firm. "I'm the manager here. We have a policy against political apparel to maintain a neutral and welcoming space for all our guests. I'm afraid I'll have to ask you to remove your hat." Barron looked up from his menu, his calm expression unchanged. He placed the menu down neatly on the table and met the manager's gaze. "I wasn't aware of such a policy," Barron replied, his voice steady and measured. "It's not listed anywhere that I could see." The manager gestured vaguely toward the entrance. "It's part of our code of conduct, which we expect all patrons to follow. This is about ensuring an inclusive environment, free from any potential discomfort." Barron leaned back slightly in his chair, considering the words. The soft hum of conversations in the restaurant began to fade as more diners subtly turned their attention to the exchange. "I understand the importance of making everyone feel welcome," Barron said after a moment, his tone respectful. "But my intention here isn't to provoke or make anyone uncomfortable. I'm just here for lunch." The manager's stance remained firm, though his jaw tightened slightly. "I appreciate that, but we must enforce the same rules for everyone. I'm going to have to insist." For a moment, silence settled between them, the air thick with unspoken tension. Barron's expression remained unreadable as he weighed his options. Finally, he gave a small nod and stood up, carefully placing the menu back on the table. "If that's how you feel, I'll respect your policy," he said evenly. He picked up his belongings and adjusted his hat. "Thank you for your time." As he walked toward the exit, the room fell into an uncomfortable hush. Diners avoided eye contact, and the faint jazz music seemed to falter. The glass doors closed softly behind Barron, leaving a lingering tension in the once serene atmosphere. As the glass doors of La Concorde swung shut behind Barron Trump, the atmosphere inside the restaurant remained thick with unease. Unbeknownst to the manager, one diner had discreetly recorded the entire exchange on their phone. The shaky footage, capturing Barron's calm composure and the manager's firm insistence, was uploaded to social media within minutes. The caption read, "Barron Trump asked to leave a high-end Manhattan restaurant over his MAGA hat." Thoughts? The video began gaining traction almost immediately. By the time Barron had walked a few blocks away, hashtags like #MAGA incident, #freedom of expression, and #restaurant row showdown were trending online. The comment sections were ablaze with debate. "Good for the manager. Politics don't belong in public dining spaces," wrote one user. "This is ridiculous," countered another. "Freedom of expression is a basic right. Barron handled it with more maturity than the manager did." By evening, the incident had made its way into the hands of local news outlets. The clips were replayed alongside heated panel discussions. Some commentators argued that private businesses had the right to enforce their own policies, including banning political symbols. Others took issue with the broader implications, questioning whether the incident highlighted growing intolerance. "It's not about the hat," one pundit said during a televised segment. "It's about how quickly we judge and alienate others based on appearances." The polarizing nature of the incident sparked an online frenzy. Memes flooded platforms, depicting everything from Barron as a symbol of resilience to parodies of the restaurant's policy. Influencers and activists chimed in, their opinions further fueling the debate. Within hours, La Concorde's social media pages were inundated with reviews and comments. Some praised the restaurant for upholding its standards, while others called for boycotts, accusing it of hypocrisy. In the midst of this digital storm, Barron remained silent, quietly observing as the world dissected his experience. The incident was no longer confined to the restaurant's walls. It had become a citywide and soon national conversation about expression, inclusivity, and the cost of taking a stand. Barron found himself seated on a weathered bench in a quiet park a few blocks away from the restaurant. The soft rustle of leaves and distant laughter of children playing offered a momentary reprieve from the buzz surrounding him. His phone vibrated endlessly, flooded with messages and notifications. He scrolled through them, reading reactions ranging from unwavering support to pointed criticism. One message stood out. "You handled it with grace. Most would have lashed out." Another asked, "What are you going to do about it?" Barron sat back, letting the words sink in. His upbringing had always emphasized the importance of turning obstacles into opportunities. His parents had taught him that retaliation, no matter how justified, rarely led to growth. Instead, the real challenge was finding a solution that could inspire change. He exhaled deeply, an idea forming in his mind. This wasn't about a hat anymore. It was about the larger issue of understanding and dialogue. The incident at the restaurant had highlighted how easily divisions could escalate, and Barron felt compelled to address it. Retaliation wasn't the answer. Building bridges was. Pulling out his phone, Barron began making calls. First to his mother, sharing his thoughts and seeking her advice, then to a close friend with experience in event planning. "I want to organize something," he explained. "An event that brings people together. Something that shifts the focus from conflict to connection." His friend listened intently. "What kind of event?" "Something open to everyone," Barron replied. "No sides, no labels, just people coming together to talk, to understand, and to support each other." "A fundraiser, maybe? We could use the proceeds to support community programs." The idea quickly gained momentum. Barron reached out to local organizations that specialized in youth mentorship, conflict resolution, and community building. Each call he made strengthened his resolve. This wasn't just about him anymore. It was about fostering a dialogue that could benefit everyone. Over the next few days, Barron worked tirelessly with his growing network. They decided to host the event in a public square just a short walk from La Concorde. The location was deliberate, a visual reminder that even spaces associated with conflict could become symbols of unity. The event, themed "Building Bridges, Not Walls," began to take shape. Food trucks were invited to provide diverse cuisines, symbolizing the variety of perspectives that made communities vibrant. A local jazz band volunteered to perform, and several charities set up booths to raise awareness about their causes. The event wasn't just about dialogue, it was about action and inclusivity. Barron envisioned the space as one of openness and warmth. There would be tables where strangers could sit together and discuss their views, art booths where children could paint murals reflecting unity, and a stage where speakers could share stories of overcoming division. Barron took an active role in every detail. He personally met with volunteers to ensure the event reflected his vision. Flyers were printed and distributed throughout the city, inviting people from all walks of life. Social media was another key tool, with posts emphasizing the message of unity and understanding. Local influencers and community leaders were quick to show their support. Many shared the event details on their platforms, commending Barron's maturity and determination. As word spread, the anticipation grew. People were intrigued, not just by the event, but by the fact that Barron was choosing to respond with positivity rather than bitterness. The final days leading up to the event were a whirlwind of activity. Donations began pouring in, and the logistics fell into place. Barron, though exhausted, felt a deep sense of purpose. This wasn't just about changing the narrative, it was about creating something meaningful that could inspire lasting change. As the night before the event approached, Barron stood in the nearly set-up square. The banners, the stage, the food trucks, it was all coming together. He took a deep breath, his heart steady with determination. Tomorrow, he thought, would be more than just a response. It would be a statement about the power of unity in a world too often divided. The morning of the event dawned crisp and sunny, with the air carrying a subtle buzz of anticipation. By the time the clock struck noon, the public square had been completely transformed. Banners with bold, welcoming messages, like "Building Bridges, Not Walls," adorned the space. A modest yet elegant stage stood at the center, flanked by booths representing local charities and community organizations. The scent of diverse cuisines wafted from food trucks lined up along the edges, their vibrant designs adding a splash of color to the scene. Families arrived first, children tugging their parents toward the art booths, where large canvases invited anyone to contribute to a mural symbolizing unity. Influencers and activists mingled with the crowd, many live-streaming the event and sharing the atmosphere with their followers. Local musicians filled the air with soulful melodies, creating a harmony that seemed to echo the event's purpose. The energy in the square was electric. Conversations flowed freely as strangers became acquaintances and acquaintances turned into collaborators. The very act of gathering in such a diverse group felt like a quiet defiance of division, a living testament to the event's theme. The crowd steadily grew as the afternoon progressed, a mix of all ages, backgrounds, and beliefs. People approached the charity booths to learn about causes ranging from youth mentorship to homelessness prevention. At the communal tables, individuals from opposite ends of the political spectrum shared stories over plates of food, discovering common ground in the process. Local media crews arrived to document the event, their cameras capturing not just the setup, but the spirit of the day. Reporters interviewed attendees who praised the initiative for bringing people together in a way that felt meaningful. "This is what we need more of," said one attendee, "not shouting matches, but conversations." Among the crowd, Barron moved with quiet purpose, greeting attendees, thanking volunteers, and ensuring that everything ran smoothly. Despite the chaos of the previous days, he carried himself with the same calm composure that had defined his initial response to the incident. As the afternoon wore on, the crowd gathered in front of the stage for the event's focal moment. Barron stepped up to the microphone, his presence commanding attention yet unassuming. The murmurs faded as the audience leaned in to listen. "Thank you all for being here today," he began, his voice steady and filled with emotion. "When I walked into a restaurant last week, I never imagined it would lead to this. What happened wasn't just about a hat, it was about something much bigger. It was about how we respond to differences, how quick we are to judge, and how easily we forget the humanity in one another." The crowd remained silent, captivated by his words. "This isn't about a hat," he continued, his tone resolute. "It's about respect, kindness, and the courage to listen. It's about recognizing that while we may not always agree, we can still find ways to come together. Conflict doesn't have to divide us, it can be an opportunity to grow." Applause broke out, but Barron raised a hand, signaling for a moment of quiet. He wasn't finished. "I want to challenge everyone here today," he said, his gaze sweeping the crowd. "The next time you find yourself in a disagreement, pause. Ask yourself what you can learn from the other person. It won't always be easy, but it's the only way we move forward." He closed with a simple but powerful statement. "Building bridges is harder than building walls, but it's always worth it." The applause that followed was thunderous, filled with genuine appreciation and inspiration. Barron stepped back, his expression a mix of gratitude and determination, as people cheered not just for him, but for the message he had delivered. After his speech, attendees approached him to share their own experiences and thank him for creating a space where people could connect. Social media exploded with positive reactions, with attendees posting photos, videos, and personal reflections. Hashtags like Utrainka Building Bridges and United We Stand trended for hours, reinforcing the event's impact. By the time the sun began to set, the square was still alive with conversation, laughter, and the sound of clinking glasses from food truck patrons. Barron, standing at the edge of the crowd, took a moment to soak it all in. He knew the work wasn't over, but today was a start, a powerful reminder of what could be achieved when people chose understanding over division. As the event continued into the early evening, a figure stepped tentatively into the square. The restaurant manager, wearing a simple blazer in place of his usual sharp suit, stood near the periphery, observing the lively crowd. His nerves were palpable. He hadn't planned to come, but was compelled after seeing the overwhelming positivity online and the impact Barron's initiative had sparked. Taking a deep breath, he weaved through the crowd, his eyes scanning for Barron. He spotted him near the stage, speaking with a group of volunteers. For a moment, the manager hesitated, unsure how his presence would be received. Summoning his courage, he approached. "Mr. Trump," the manager said, his voice low but clear. Barron turned, his expression neutral but open. "I'd like to apologize," the manager continued, meeting Barron's gaze. "I realize now that I handled the situation poorly. I thought I was upholding neutrality, but in doing so, I acted unfairly." Barron studied him for a moment, then extended his hand. "Thank you for coming and for saying that," he replied. "It takes courage to admit when we're wrong." The two shook hands, the gesture earning quiet applause from those nearby who recognized the significance of the moment. The manager gestured to the event around them. "This is incredible," he admitted. "You turned something divisive into something inspiring. I never imagined that incident would lead to this." Barron nodded. "It's proof that conflict doesn't have to divide us. It can bring us closer if we choose to listen and learn." Barron paused, then added, "If you're open to it, I think La Concorde could play a role in this kind of dialogue. Maybe host an event like this, something that brings people together rather than pushes them apart." The manager blinked, visibly surprised but intrigued by the suggestion. After a moment, he nodded. "I'd like that. Let's make it happen." As they parted ways, the handshake lingered, a symbolic gesture of reconciliation and mutual respect. The moment was captured by onlookers, the image quickly spreading online. It wasn't just a handshake, it was a bridge between two perspectives, proof that understanding could prevail over division. For Barron, it was a powerful reminder of why he'd chosen this path. And for the manager, it was a chance to grow and lead by example. Together, they demonstrated the profound impact of open communication and shared purpose. The ripple effect of the event was almost immediate. Social media platforms were flooded with photos, videos, and heartfelt posts from attendees and onlookers. The hashtag #NumberBuildingBridges began trending nationwide, shifting the narrative from one of division to unity. Influencers, community leaders, and even some public figures praised Barron's initiative, calling it a masterclass in turning conflict into an opportunity for connection. One post, featuring the handshake between Barron and the restaurant manager, went viral. The caption read, "This is how change happens, not through shouting matches, but through dialogue and understanding." The image became a symbol of hope, inspiring countless discussions online about the importance of empathy and constructive action. Back at La Concorde, the impact of the event was felt in a very tangible way. Facing public criticism, but also motivated by Barron's example, the restaurant announced a review of its policies. The manager worked with his team to create a new code of conduct that prioritized inclusivity while maintaining a welcoming environment for all patrons. Taking inspiration from Barron's event, the restaurant began hosting monthly gatherings designed to foster dialogue and community. These events ranged from charity fundraisers to open forums, drawing a diverse crowd and restoring the restaurant's reputation as a space where people could connect meaningfully. For Barron, the incident marked a profound turning point. Reflecting on the events, he recognized the potential each of us holds to create positive change, even in the face of adversity. What began as a moment of discomfort in a restaurant had grown into something far greater, a movement that transcended political divides and showcased the power of unity. As he sat at his desk, jotting down ideas for future initiatives, Barron felt a renewed sense of purpose. This wasn't just about one event or one moment. It was a reminder that, with empathy, courage, and action, even the smallest gestures could leave a lasting impact on the world.